Awesome, guys. So welcome to our webinar. And this is Daniel here at Powtoon, Daniel G. You get my email sometimes. And we are talking about introductory welcome to Powtoon. So we've got a bunch of people here, but if this is a little bit um, too basic for you, just use the little chat window to let me know, and we'll move it ahead and we'll speed it up and get into sort of Q&A stuff and head it the direction you want it to go. But essentially, this is a welcome webinar, and we're going to go over really basic stuff and hopefully move into a few tricks and best practices and so on. So let's get going. So if you've been to Powtoon, funny thing I'm going to tell you before we get started is I tend to ask people on the audio if everybody's on audio. So you'll notice that on the little chat session, people are going to come in the next few minutes and say, hey, why can't I hear anything? If you could just do me a great favor and answer them and tell them how you got an audio, that would be awesome, because it's hard for me to type and speak at the same time. This is a live webinar, so feel free to interact, chat with each other, chat with me. I'm going to sort of keep my eye on the chat on the right. So without further ado, let's get going here. As soon as you signed up, you head into the Powtoon editor. You will notice the Powtoon editor is accessible through either your dashboard or just by clicking on Start Now, sometimes, or by clicking on the link if you have it to a certain specific edit of Powtoon. Once you're in here, it's typically after you have selected a template or you've selected a blank presentation. Either way, you're going to get the same interface for now. This is what you're going to see. We're going to be releasing a new version with a new UI soon, and in about a month or two, we're very, very excited about it. It's going to be dramatically different and a lot simpler and easier to use. I'll talk about that later. Right now, the concept here is a concept of, it's a hybrid between a sort of your usual slideshow and a movie maker. And what I mean by that is you've got your slides on the left here, which is where you create slides. You've got two little buttons. There's a minus and a plus for creating or deleting. Then you've got the timeline underneath, and the timeline is associated with a specific slide. So each slide has a certain number of seconds, starting from 0, and in this case ending at 10. I can make it longer right there or shorter, depending on how long I need that to be. And if you're working in a movie mode, really all these slides do are a way for you to organize your information as scenes rather than as a slideshow, because it's just going to play continuously and keep going. And when you're working on a presentation, then you can treat them as presentation slides, which include animation inside. And we'll talk about presentation mode soon. Right here is where you switch between the two. If you're making a movie, make sure you're on movie mode, not on presentation mode. It's going to change the player when you play it. And of course, presentation, you can't you can export as a movie, but it won't stop for you. It'll just keep playing. Okay. What I want to do is, when I start going, is obviously work with a script. So if I have a script, it makes it easier. But if you're just playing around, you're new, you just want to make something, this is the way to go. You add a slide, and typically I will choose a background. So each style here on the right, this is my style pan right there. I've got a carousel. This is a freestyle right there. The marker style, which is great. We've got a bunch of different premium styles for the premium users. I know from the comments, a couple of you there are premium users. We've got a hand style, it includes hands. And we've just got a new addition right now, which is the marketer pack. And we're going to add a few of these packs very soon, which are specific for industry and for professions. So small businesses, marketers, different startups, doctors, what have you. We're going to add a whole bunch of the designers, and you can see the pack has a lot of stuff that are relevant for marketing, dollars, different icons of social things, etc. And we're going to really expand these very soon. So I'm going to choose a background, and my recommendation is don't switch backgrounds a lot. Don't choose every slide a different background. Try to stay consistent unless your the scenery that changes means the context change of your characters changed. and now you want to have a different background. So say I chose this white background. I happen to like it, and I want to enter a character. Now, the way to think here is you're thinking like a director. You want to basically tell your characters, enter from right, enter stage, right from right is how a director typically speaks to the characters. Stand there and wait for the other character to come and say hi. And let's do that. Let's just do that. So we're going to take, one character, and in this case, let's pick an animated character right here, and let's take a walking one. And we're going to tell her enter screen. So once I clicked her, she's going to fit wherever, right in the center of the screen. So I'm going to think I want her to enter from the right and stop in the middle of the screen. So going down to the timeline, I see at 0 seconds, that means in this slide, at second 0, what's going to happen at second 1, at second 2, etc. When do I want her to enter? I want her to enter at second 1. And where do I want her to enter from? Is going to be from the right to the left. So I'm going to switch this little arrow. That's our effect. The effect for this character is going to be from right to left. I could make her enter from left to right, but notice that this character is facing left. So if I tell her to enter from left to right, what's going to happen is she's going to be walking in backwards. That's going to be embarrassing. So sometimes you might want to do that. It kind of is a neat effect, but typically it makes sense for a character to enter with the condition they're looking and not walk backwards. So at second 1, she's entering. And you see this little triangle there. That's the duration of the effect. So the effect in this case is an enter from right to left effect. So she's going to start entering at ½ second and finish her entry at 1 second. That's what a triangle symbolizes. And I'm going to tell her to enter the screen and the stage, and I'm going to ask her to just stop and stand there. And at this point, I'm just going to say no effect, just disappear at second 4, and I'll soon show you why. Now my red triangle shows what am I looking at the screen right now, what second. So I'm looking at second 0, at second 1, second 2, and I can just kind of move it around, play around with it, see what I'm creating. Let's just play this quickly. See, she entered the screen, and she's just standing there. And if I go to second 4, she disappeared. So far, really basic, really simple. At second 2, I want another character to come in from left to right. So let's pick the gentleman. And where's a walking man? Right here. Oops, he's a little bit too big. I'm going to make him smaller. And he's going to come in from left to right and stand across from her. But notice this, he's facing left. So what we want to do, I'm going to drag him over to second 2, make sure he enters at second 2. Notice when I click on the girl icon, did I just move the girl? Oh, girl is entering at second 1. Boy is entering in the second 2. So let's just play that quickly. Look what happens now. See that? He was entering in the reverse. So I'm going to flip him around by clicking this button right there. And now he enters and stops. So here's where we're going to do something slightly more advanced. Okay, they both enter and stop here. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to keep walking in place. And that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to want to have them talk to each other in a second. And clearly, we don't want them to walk in place. So I'm going to have him come over, in this case, second 4. And I just randomly picked that. Honestly, you're gonna see soon that I got my timing wrong, and want to fix it. And second, and the lady at second 4 as well. They both come in, walk in place for just a second, and disappear. And they're walking in place a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick her. I'm going to put the cursor at the red triangle at second 2. Pick her. And if you see this little icon while she's selected, that's called a split. And then the one on top of it is swap. So I'm going to click on split right at second 2. You see, and now I can choose a different character from here. So if I wanted to just stop and stand, I just pick her in a different pose, and look at that. Now she's just standing there. Okay. So at second, let's play this. He walks in. And see, now she's standing. I should do the same thing for the gentleman. Where did he go? He's walking in, and I'll pick him at second 3 because he enters at second 2. So he enters, and then second 3, we're going to get him to just, here we go, swap. And let's pick another man, and this one is going to be really happy to see her. There he goes. Okay, let's flip him so he's looking the right way. That's that. Fantastic. And as you can see, this is how we start putting together a story. Now, if you have a script in place, the script can look something like girl enters stage, stops, man enters stage across from her, girl says hi, man says hi. Very simple script. Of course, yours will be a little funnier, a little bit better, right? Then this is how you work. Now it's just an implementation. It's a lot easier. If you're trying to figure out the script as you go, it's going to be tougher because what's going to happen is you're going to make something neat, but then you're going to go back and try to change it. And when you're going back, you now start changing the timeline for each one of these characters backwards, and that'll create a chain effect and a cascading effect. And you're going to have to be changing everything that's coming next. So big plus for writing a script, a quick script first, sort of the way I mentioned it. At this point, we can say, okay, girl, speech bubble. Okay, so we could put a speech bubble in here, right down below. We've got props, and the props have a lot of different things in them. We're about to add a ton more, by the way. We're really working on adding a lot of content. And she can have the speech bubble, and this will just go, and I'll just keep doing these kind of things. Just give her a speech bubble, make sure the timing is right, so the speech bubble happens at the right time, right? She's saying hi, maybe it's second 3, and this is exactly when they're switching between the 2 characters. So you see them there. Second 3, she's going to say hi, and so on. Let me just keep going. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep doing this because I think you get it. If you want me to keep on showing you a few more of this, how to set the stage through the timeline and how to get people doing, how to get the sequencing right, just let me know through the chat window. So moving on. Up here, we've got a few more different elements to work with. Okay, we've got text effects. And text effects, we basically are ways to get the text written in doing different things. And you can see the words can appear one by one, which are really cool. And or you could have sort of letters appearing one by one. So if I pick any of these, that's how my text is going to show up. So I can put my text here. Notice what happened. My whenever I add a new item, I'm just randomly going to pick, say, another one. Right? It adds it in 1 second after the previous one I added. It's just a way to help you out and go quicker. So bear that in mind. It kind of helps you out there sequencing things. But you might, if you don't know that, you might kind of say to yourself, hey, how did they get to 10 seconds? If my slide is too short, I go on. Each slide has a maximum of 20 seconds, and we did that because otherwise it just gets way too many objects right here to handle. And so when it goes on seamlessly from one to the next, so just break it down. I would recommend breaking it down, not going on to a maximum of 20 seconds on each slide, but basically breaking it down by context. So if I finish the scene, I'll just add a new slide right there and move on to the next scene. Because that way, if I make a change to one scene, it's not cascading throughout the entire presentation. I can just change one scene at a time, and the next scene is going to be unaffected. It's going to work nicely. I've got right below here, I've got a few other things. We've got markers, so these are arrows and different things we can use to make a point. And I'll show you a few different ways how to use that. So essentially, we want to exaggerate things in a cartoon. Somebody's asking, by the way, can you insert an external movie that is greater than 20 seconds? So right now, the only way to insert a video is through an SWF file, and those are basically Flash-generated files. You can insert them here, and those can be pretty long. Not sure if we have a limit on how long they could be, but yeah, basically what will happen is that'll keep running. And that's actually a good question. I will follow up with you later. I haven't actually done that myself, so I'm not sure. So please send me an email. I'll write my email here, just so you can get back to me, so I can get back to you on it. But basically, right here, you can upload file and import an SWF. You can just upload a regular image, or you can upload directly from Creative Commons on Flickr. So, by the way, while we're on the topic, Creative Commons, if you're using this for business use and you're just promoting your own business, Creative Commons licensing usually is okay, works for you. But if you're reselling that video, it might not. So that's on your responsibility, is to make sure that the licensing of those images or videos or whatever you're adding in, SWF files, any kind of assets you're bringing in by yourself, you're responsible for those kind of licenses and royalties. Okay. So back to where we were. So transitions. Transitions are really, really cool. A lot of people are using them. When we finish with the slide, so say there's this slide here. If I want to transition from one slide to another, normally it'll just play seamlessly from slide 1 to slide 2. But I can also create a transition. And one of the favorite ones I've seen is this swiper. All I have to do is click it, and you see it right there. It says squeegee. So at the end of the slide, I'll just play here. Oh, the squeegee comes in and cleans it, and we move to the next slide. So that transition happens right between the two slides, and it's really cool. You can play with it. One thing to note is that the transition is sitting right there, regardless of whether I move the slides around. So if you're moving the order of the slides, make sure to go back and change the order and adjust your transitions appropriately. Transitions are really cool. They're very popular now. We're going to be adding a few more down the road, not immediately soon. Now, the length of your presentation in total depends on the license you've got. Somebody's asking if we're going to place a recording. Yes, we do on our YouTube channel, soon on our website too. Just look us up with a bunch of other recordings as well, free to enjoy. The overall length of your presentation depends on your licensing. The better licenses go up to 60 minutes of a presentation. So the number of slides simply depends on the number of seconds in each slide. We've gone over a bunch of different things here, and I just wanted to show you something that people ask a lot about, the hand effect. How do we get the effect of the hand moving things in? And so this is really great. Voiceover, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me just go over the hand effect. So when we have, if we want to showcase different products, for instance, I'm just going to delete this character. Actually, let's move to a new slide here, clean slide. So say I am selling, let's go here to one of the premium styles, and let's pick, say, and now here we go. So I'm selling, I can use an image in an image holder. I'm just going to pick here and say I'm selling money. Okay, and I'm also selling flowers. Okay? So one of the ways to kind of showcase that is to have this hand that comes over and swipes money over, and as you're talking, it's going to swipe flower over. You've probably seen these. These are really, really neat, and the way to do it is really simple. I've got my enter effect. I'm going to go say enter left and then exit right. Okay, so I'm going in one uniform direction, and then you see here it says there's this palm of hand. I'm just going to turn it on. Then I click play. See that? in and out. Now, what I can do is I can squish these together like that, and watch what happens now. There we go. A little quick, but you can do these. You can play around with these neat effects. Really, really cool when you're kind of showcasing stuff. Now, somebody asked about voiceover. Yes, you can add your voiceover right inside Powtoon. And here's how. So you've got your sound manager right there, and you're going to click it. And somebody's asking, we have our own characters which can be imported. Is there a way to make them move? Well, you'd have to make them. You'd have to. You can give them an enter or exit effect, but you can also give them an animation in the Flash and import them while they're animated. So we provide only the enter and exit effects for your own characters or images. And if you want to animate them, you'd have to animate them in Flash and import them as an SWF. Now, here's the way to record a voiceover. You can either import a file, you record it in Camtasia or Audacity. Great software, they'll give you a higher quality recording. But many, many times, if you've got a good microphone, a lot of people just do it right inside of Powtoon. Just click record here, and it's going to start recording. I'm not going to do this right now. And you can also import music. And so you can either import the file or just play it right there. There's a preview, and you can add it to the soundtrack. So I could do Deck the Halls right there, add it in. Now I've got two, there we go. And if I import a recording or record right there, I'll have these two tracks. And I'll be able to adjust the relative volume of each of them, which is really neat. So I can make the music a little bit quieter and the voice a little clearer. There's one recording for the entire presentation right now, and I know a lot of you have asked for having separate recordings per slide. It will come, but for now, what I really, really recommend is do your voiceover first. So record a killer voiceover, get it right, and then animate to that. It's going to make your life so easy, and you're going to start pumping out Powtoons just like that, because it's once you've got the voiceover in and a quick script, like saying character enters, character leaves, character jumps with joy, whatever, it becomes really easy, and you just keep going. If you record a voiceover after, what will happen is that you're going to have to start sequencing everything you did according to your voiceover, and that's just double work. We don't like it. Somebody's asking, can we export the file as a PowerPoint presentation? The answer is right now, no. This is coming soon, and I'll talk about presentation mode in a minute. Ooh, does Adobe Edge Animate work with this? You know, I have no idea. I'm not an animator myself. I could find out for you. Again, please email me. It's hard for me to write down while I'm talking here, and I can follow up on that. If it's a SWF or a file, it can be imported, and we are working on some other options soon too. Again, talk to you about it in a minute with what our future plans are. But I know what I will say is a lot of people, like Russ Law, if you've seen the movies from Russ Explains, Carl Kwan, what they'll do is they'll create a Powtoon, and then they'll go into After Effects, add their own video to it, and it's going to make a collage of the two. So they might show themselves presenting. Carl does that. Katie Davis, for instance, is really great at taking Powtoons, then jumping back to a video of herself, then going back to Powtoon. Really neat stuff. A little more advanced, but it's really killer the way these people do these stuff. Russ had a webinar, by the way, of how to add sound effects, which was really neat, and working with different software and Powtoon, and how he does what he does. And it was really easy. I was surprised at how easy he made it look, at least. So now what we've got here is presentation mode, and a bunch of you have been asking. By the way, there's these two little buttons here you may notice. One is the duplicate slide, and one is clone objects to a new slide. So duplicate slide simply takes the slide you have and copies, creates a new one just like it. And clone objects, what it does is if you've got this slide and I've got this object at the end of it, it'll simply copy it to the beginning of the next slide. And that's a way you don't have to work with grids, etc., if you're just trying to match what was there before. Another thing to work with is to make sure that you can basically copy, paste, and now we've got two items, one exactly on top of each other. So the different things you can also swap items. So say we want them to align, we can do that. And then I change the location of this new one on the timeline. So I've got both of them centered in exactly the same way. I've got a little bit of a lag time here. Okay, so both are centered right on the spot, on the same spot. In this case, of course, it makes no sense, but you get my point. So there are different ways of centering and aligning stuff. The clone items is great when you're reached the end of a slide. You want to seamlessly move on, and you want to get the new item, the characters and items sort of aligned exactly with the previous one. Presentation mode. So presentation mode, what it does right now, all it does really is switch you to a different player that allows you to put stops in, and gives you this little button here that's a hold button. So when I'm putting a hold, and you see this little triangle there, essentially while I'm playing, all that's going to happen is it's going to stop automatically at that point. And this allows me, while I'm presenting, to have a quick animation, stop, I'm talking about whatever I'm talking, I click next, I click play, I click spacebar, it moves on to the next slide. It just keeps playing. So the presentation mode at this point is really, really simple. All it is stop, go for your movie. So you can easily switch from movie mode to presentation mode. And so I want to present this in front of a live audience. I need to know that it's going to stop where I want it to stop. You put little holds in there. If you export the presentation mode to YouTube, slideshow mode, it's going to just keep playing. It's just going to ignore those stops, and it'll just keep playing. Now, what we're about to release actually is a whole new version of Powtoon. We're calling it Project Slides, and it's got a hugely revamped presentation mode. It's just going to knock you off your feet. It's really amazing. We've been working on this for a long, long time, and it's really, really amazing. And it's a lot more than just presentation mode. It's really going to do amazing stuff for you. And we're so excited about it. I mean, really, I can't tell you how much, and I can't tell you. I'm just not allowed to tell you about what exactly goes in there, other than this is what it's about. So yeah, that's it. My boss just left the room, and I don't want to say any more than that. Okay. There we go. So next thing is what happens when we're done. So say I made this beautiful presentation. It's got all these slides here. They're going to do all these beautiful things for me. Everything is smooth. What do I do? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click preview right there. And it's going to take me to what we call the player page. And there we can play the Powtoon. And I'm going to just keep talking while it loads in this case. Here we can share this Powtoon. See this URL at the top. You can share it with people. And this URL will also show up in your dashboard. So you can share, you can tweet it right from there. You can post on Facebook, etc. And you can embed it on your website as well from here. If you want, my computer is a little slow right now. There you go. This is the player. If we were in presentation mode, it would show the slightly different player because it would allow me to pause and keep going. One thing, you can also export directly to YouTube or download if you're a paying user. The difference between the free users and the paying users is one thing. You notice that I don't have Powtoon logo here. The same on the player page, no Powtoon logo. We also keep the player page much cleaner for you. We're going to upgrade that a lot soon too. So when your viewers come to watch it, they're going to get a very clean, nice viewing environment. That's what the paying users are going to get. The paying users also get a lot more style libraries, like this one right here. It's the Creatimate style with a lot of animated characters. And like I said, we're adding a lot more characters and props, including a bunch that are relevant to specific industries. Our agency plan, which is the top plan, includes all the styles we ever make. And so as we're branching out to different packages for startups, for small businesses, etc., agency gets them all. So Just be aware of that. The length of time, the ability to export in HD quality or full HD quality, depending on which plan you have. And that's basically the walkthrough from beginning to end. You have an autosave every 5 minutes, but don't forget to save. One thing I would really highly recommend you to do, and somebody asked me about the undo button, I would recommend you to do is save every now and then. Now, every session or so where you get to a bunch of great results, so say you really figured something out or you changed the design a little bit, what I would do is I would save. And then I would go to my dashboard right here and say, I don't know, here I've got this Powtoon right there. What I would do is I would go and right here, I would duplicate the Powtoon. So essentially, I've created a new version of it. And that way, if I mess up, whatever, I can always go back to the last version, and I sort of hodgepodge my own undo button. Many times, many different software, they only support undo to a certain level anyway, to a certain number of actions. Sometimes they'll only let you undo after, since after you're only for that same session. So it's a great thing to do either way to save and duplicate and call it a new name. Whether or not you're on slideshow mode or whatever you made, before you go to preview or export, save, because otherwise you'll preview everything before you save. So again, make sure to save often, and that will spare you a lot of trouble. And now, if something happens, and say you lost internet connection, our server was down, it's almost never down. But when it is, it's really bad for whoever was there because they get annoyed. Luckily, we have a 5-minute autosave, so the worst you will lose is a 5-minute period. And if you lost internet connection, you will see it here, or you get a little message. But what will happen? But what you want to do is save, and then when you come here the next time, if you lost internet connection, what have you, it's going to say here, there is, once you click on it or try to edit it, it'll say there is an autosave version available for you. You didn't lose all your work. So that's that. If you have any questions, specific questions, please add it in the text field right now. This is your chance. This is great. If you have any questions about upgrading, joining, sharing, any kind of specific questions that you would like from me, let me know. My email, I shared it with you, it's danielg@Powtoon. And I do read every single email that gets to me. Sometimes I do get sort of carried away with too many emails in my account, and it can take me a little bit of time, or I might lose one or two, but I really, really do read them all. So, and you can imagine there are a lot. So please do email me with any questions, etc. We also have a page, a tutorial page, which we're also revamping as usual. It's powtoon.com/tutorial, and you can see in the dashboard here on the sidebar, we've got a bunch of resources for you. And so there are examples you can see. We got some stuff in our blog too, which are neat. But you can also also some community stuff you can see here, where other Powtoonists that are making Powtoons are featured right there. You can see what they made, and you can join in yourself. If you want to participate in that program, let me know. Okay, somebody's asking about when the new slides feature will be released. Unfortunately, I don't have a date for you, but I can tell you it is fairly soon. So we are, we are starting to hype it up because we are really excited about it, because we see it coming. We see it coming alive. I've seen it. I'm very, very excited about it. It also will include a ton of new styles you haven't seen before. It's me yapping again. Infographics, animated charts. Oops, said too much. Okay, there we go. Any other questions before we leave? This is your chance. This webinar is recorded. It'll be posted in our YouTube channel. And if you have any, if you want to take a look at other webinars there, please do. We do give other webinars as well, or not just about Powtoon per se. We had one for there's one on YouTube marketing. We have one coming up very soon about email marketing, writing great emails and how video can fit with your landing page and emails and so on. That's really awesome. We have one about script writing coming up soon with different guest webinar hosts. So do check in on the webinar page right here under resources. Some of them are really awesome. And if you missed them, go to the YouTube channel and watch them out. Thanks for participating. Keep in touch. Oh, there's one more question. Any demos of Powtoon being used for crowdfunding project? Yes, we have lots of people using Powtoon on Indiegogo and on Kickstarter, and for all kinds of purposes. You cannot believe what people are fundraising for these days. So yeah, we see them a lot. And if we love if you share those with us. If you're doing it, we'll share them with the community. And usually we find out about them after the fundraising is over, and when it's hit Google and stuff. If you've put something on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, let us know. We'll love to share it and help you out there, raise your do your fundraising. It's just great. It's lovely to show those Powtoons. And if you have something that you want to share with your community, with the Powtoon community, we have an active Facebook page, YouTube channel, really active community on Twitter. We have Powtoon of the Day where we pick out neat Powtoons. So yeah, share them with us, tweet them to us. We'll get them around for you. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, thanks guys. Talk to you soon and stay in touch.